over there hear me?
I hear you.
Okay.
Good morning, Judge.
And we're gonna do Ms. Wilkinson first. Okay. Come on up. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Marisol Wilkinson.
All right, Ms. Wilkinson, you're here in 2020 MM 5980AO. You're arrested for battery, domestic violence. There's probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Do we have any witnesses present? No? Okay, so, ma'am, I am going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order, and that can be changed in writing by a judge at a later date. Yes, Mr. Matos?
Your Honor, I'm just asking that Ms. Wilkinson be ROR. She has had a stable
Okay,
job.
we haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, not a problem.
Okay, hold on. All right, so did you understand everything on the no contact order?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're also to maintain a separate residence. You may return with law enforcement to get personal belongings one time. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Okay, Mr. Matos.
Yes, Your Honor. We're just asking that my client be ROR. She has a stable government job that she's been working on for 14 years. She's been in Orlando most of her lives and been living in the 2644 Threntonwood Drive, Orlando, for the minimum of 14 years. We just asked that the court to ROR at this time since she has no criminal history.
Well, it seems, I mean, I don't know anything about her history because she refused to speak with pretrial. So, you know, what you're telling me is not based on anything that I can read or understand. So, all I'm seeing here is that she refused to speak with pretrial services. So I have no information about her contacts with the, you know, with the community, nor do I have any information about her job or anything of that nature. So.
I understand, Your Honor.
I didn't refuse pretrial. They just didn't want to walk me to the booking floor because I'm a correction officer here at Orange County.
Okay, well, they put on here that you refused to speak with them, so I don't know if that can be clarified. So where you work here, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how long have you been employed here?
14 years.
Okay. And obviously you understand you need to show up to court.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. So, Ms. Wilkinson, excuse me, I am going to release you on your own recognizance. You need to make sure that you comply with the court's order. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't miss any court date. And if you want to change the no contact order, that will have to be done in writing by a judge downtown. Okay? All right?
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is the Spanish interpreter.
Hi, good morning. Have you been sworn in?
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
Okay. And can you just state your name and so that we just have that on the record?
Laura Arroyo, State Certified Interpreter.
All right, thank you. All right, and you're going into BRC courtroom 2. I'm not sure if
Yes,
you're able
I'm connected.
Oh, perfect. Good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
Gabriel Antonio Moreno Medina. Gabriel.
I'm sorry, can I, un momento, señor. I'm sorry, can I ask the correctional officer to move the mic on the podium away from him? Gabriel Antonio Moreno Medina.
All right, Mr. Moreno Medina, you're here in 2020 MM 5979AO. You're arrested for battery, dating violence. I do find probable cause for that offense, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I don't believe we have any witnesses present, so I am going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order form, sir. Do you understand everything on the form?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're also to maintain a separate residence. If you need to return back, you must go with law enforcement to get personal belongings that you may need. You can go one time. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition, and no alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription. And he was not able to be qualified. He's on vacation, I believe, or here from...
Sorry, Your Honor, the interpreter did not hear that last part. What,
I
did he
just
not
said
qualify?
I asked if he had been qualified for pretrial release, but it doesn't look like he had been.
No, Your Honor. Due to he stated that he'll be going back to Venezuela.
Okay, so I'll set the bond at $500. Mr. Moreno, make sure you keep in touch with the public defender's office so they know how to get in touch with you if you have a court date, okay? Thank you. Good luck. Good morning. Please tell me your name.
Steven Suarez Gonzalez.
All right, so you're here in 2020 MM 597180. It's a battery. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. You're not to have any contact with any victims or witnesses, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I'm going to stay the bond at the $500. I'm not taking any action on the out on release case, sir, but I can advise you that if you come back a third time, chances are your release will be revoked on your cases. Do you understand?
Yes, understood.
All right. Good luck, sir.
Hello,
All right. Good morning, sir. Tell me your name.
Emmanuel Aguilar Rodriguez.
Emmanuel Aguilar.
All right, sir, you're here in 2020 CF 9882AO. You're charged with sexual battery on a person over the age of 18 by a person over the age of 18. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I don't know if they're... I'm sorry, Your Honor. I have a person trying to get in. Is she here for this? Is that Miss Glover Gamble?
Yes, it is.
Okay, are you representing this individual?
I think she said Antoine.
I just don't know if she's representing Mr. Aguilar Rodriguez.
No, Your Honor. I'm here for Wesner Anton.
Okay, I think he's Creole, is that correct? Is that the Creole interpreter
Yes.
case?
Yes.
Okay, we were gonna do him last because we don't
Okay.
have the interpreter and we would have to call, but do you need to go speak with him or?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, yeah, just come back when you're ready and then we can grab him, okay? All right, I'm sorry. And so I do find probable cause and I appoint the public defender. I am ordering that you have no contact with the victim or any witnesses in the case, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, and no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. And you do have an immigration detainer as well, Mr. Aguilar Rodriguez, so you'll have to speak with the public defender's office about that detainer. You won't be able to be released if I impose a bond until that is lifted. So, Ms. Bush, this is an F1 punishable by 30 years.
Yes,
Did
Your
you
Honor.
wish to be heard as to bond, or?
Your Honor, the state would ask the court to set bond in the amount of $100,000, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Matos?
Your Honor, I don't see a face sheet here, so there's not much I can say, so I'll leave it at the court's discretion at this time.
Okay. There's no prior history or arrests.
No, Your Honor.
Yeah. So I'm going to set the bond at $30,000. Mr. Aguilar, did you understand everything that I explained to you?
Yes.
Okay. Good luck, sir. And then we do have Miss Glover Gambles here for Mr. Antoine, but I think she's going to go talk to him, and then we'll do that at the end. And then do we have any other Spanish interpreter cases?
No, ma'am.
Anyone? No? Okay. And do we have any witnesses out there? Madam Interpreter, if you could just make an announcement if anybody needs the interpreter. I can't quite see everybody out there to raise their
Sure.
hand.
Sure, no problem. ¿Hay alguien allá afuera en el público que requiere un intérprete en español? Si es así, levante la mano.
All right. I don't see anybody raising their hand. So thank you so
Okay.
much.
You're welcome. The interpreter will disconnect.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Good morning. Tell me your name. Is that Mr. Haddon?
Stephen Haddon.
Okay. Keep the mask on, Mr. Haddon. Okay. I can
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
you just fine. Okay. All right. Mr. Haddon, we reset this from yesterday, and you've got 20. Do we have a case number? 2020 MO 84180. It's camping in a prohibited place and being in the park after hours. And there's probable cause. And did you have an offer, Ms. Bush, for Mr. Haddon?
I can't do a global offer because the other isn't filed on yet.
Was the other one's not been filed on yet?
No, Your
Okay.
Honor, but the offer for today's is an adjudication of guilt.
I'm being advised that it has been filed on.
Okay, as of this weekend, I didn't see a filing, but I'll review it.
5580.
5580, yes, Your Honor.
So they did file on 8/14. Might have just gotten in there today. And it was filed as a trespass on property other than structure or conveyance from the 7-Eleven on July 31st, 2020. He has 14 days on that one.
On the out on bond release 5580, the state's offer would be an adjudication of guilt, 14 days credit time served, no return to the 7-Eleven, no contact with witnesses, abide by all trespass warnings, cost of investigation to the Orlando Police Department in the amount of $52 and court costs. In 2020 MO 08410, it would be an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, which I believe would be 3 days, and court costs. And the state would recommend concurrent. Well, they're both credit time
Yeah,
served.
credit for time served. Mr. Haddon, did you hear that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you want to resolve both your cases today with the credit for time served?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you read the plea form?
Yes, I did.
Did you understand everything on it?
Yes, I did.
Are you on probation anywhere?
I'm good, no, ma'am.
Okay, you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
I understand that.
Okay, I do find a factual basis based on the affidavits in the court files to accept your plea on 2020 MM 5580. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 14 days with credit for 14 days time served. Can't go back to the 7-Eleven at 1 North Rosalind Avenue. Abide by the trespass warning and no contact with victims or witnesses at that location. There's a
ma'am.
cost of investigation to the Orlando Police Department in the amount of $52.
Yes,
And I'll
ma'am.
impose court costs. And then in the case that you're here for today, 2020 MO 84180, I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 3 days with credit for 3 days time served. And then I'll impose court costs. I'll order you pay everything by August 17th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment, sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, Mr. Haddon. Good luck.
I go home today?
Yeah, you'll go home today.
I'll take care of all the court costs and whatnot.
Okay,
Fine.
thank you, sir.
Okay. Oh, Your Honor.
All right, good morning. Tell me your name.
Good morning. My name's Robert Harris, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Harris, I did speak with Judge Wilson about the pretrial release
Yes,
that she
ma'am.
had said that she would agree to if you qualify. So it's 2020 CF 985680, and she's already gone through the probable cause and conditions of release. And so I'm not showing on the face sheet that you'll qualify for pretrial release.
No, Your Honor, he was re-interviewed and he didn't qualify.
He did not.
No, Your Honor.
I don't know.
So it's not gonna look like you're gonna qualify Mr. Harris for pretrial release after they've re-interviewed you.
Can I say something, ma'am?
Sure.
Yesterday, an officer came and asked me for a phone number so I can try to get in contact with family members so I could be released, but he never came back and said anything else about it. But the judge said that she was gonna look into my pretrial release yesterday, and because with the way this incident happened, ma'am, I'm homeless too, and I was sitting down in an area kind of like
Mr.
I
Harris.
don't want you to talk about what happened.
Okay,
Mr.
sorry.
Okay, I can I can read the affidavit, but it's better that you don't say anything.
Okay.
So I know she did set your bond at 100 on count one, and then she stated at 1,500. Are you able to afford any particular bond at all?
Ma'am, I'm homeless. Do
Do you have any family around?
No, I don't. That's why I was trying to get out, because what I was going to do is I'm working right now, but I work at KBI Constructions, and I hadn't had the time to be able to I was in the process. I'm taking care of this old lady. She's 68 years old, and she was homeless too, and I'm her caretaker. And I end up running across this lady, and she asked me to help her get some food out, a food package, for homeless people. So I went to the Samaritan house. I did all this stuff and helped her get the food. And I was sitting down, and the cops rushed her and took me to jail with them. But it was a pregnant girl, and she didn't go to jail. And I wasn't involved in any of that, ma'am. I'm just trying to figure out if I could be released on R&R. I will call every day. I was trying to figure out something I could do to stay in contact with the courts until my court date, because I really not. Does the state have an offer for this?
Well, part of it is a felony, so we can't resolve it today unless they were to drop that portion of the case, and I don't know if they would be willing to do that today. So the count 2 is a felony charge. I can't resolve that without resolving both, unless one of the case counts got dropped. But I can order him into pretrial release. So that's what I'm going to do, Mr. Harris. I'm going to order you into pretrial release. I'm going to order that you call twice a week, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And, Your Honor, yesterday, Judge Wilson also said that would be with random urinalysis.
Yeah, and I did speak with her and let her know they're not doing random urinalysis.
Okay.
So
All
I
right.
can order the random urinalysis, but they're not doing it. And I
Okay.
did explain that to her in our conversation. So I'm going to add the condition of random urinalysis pursuant to what Judge Wilson wanted me to do. But I don't know if they're testing, but if they are, they may test you. So just be aware of that.
Yes, ma'am.
So if they call you in to get tested, you got to come in. If you test dirty, that's a violation.
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
Okay? All right. So I'm going to order you into pretrial release, Mr. Harris. Make sure that you comply with all of the orders that Judge Wilson and I have imposed, and you don't miss any court dates, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck.
Your Honor,
Yes.
was that RUA through PTR also?
Yeah, I ordered random urinalysis. I just know that they're not necessarily doing it, but they may start doing it at some point, so that's why. And I know Judge Wilson did want that imposed. I did explain to her.
Okay,
all
thank
of
you.
that
And you
yesterday.
want him to report 2 times weekly?
2 times weekly, yes. Okay. All right, please tell me your name.
Harold Rasmus.
All right, Mr. Raspin, you're here in 2020 CF 9850AO. You're arrested for grand theft third degree of a motor vehicle. I believe you were here yesterday, and
Yes, ma'am.
the court gave the state 24 hours to provide probable cause for
Yes,
the
sir.
offense. And
Your Honor, and it was just delivered to
Okay.
me, if I may approach.
Sure, and you have a copy for Ms. Matos, I'm sure. Mr. Matos? Thank you.
And the first narrative page, Your Honor, is the original document.
Okay. So you don't have a jurat for these, Ms. Bush?
No, Your Honor, because this was a weekend and jurats are handled separately. They are not uploaded into a system. They're handled separately. And the jurats are now elsewhere. But the state would note that the agency case number of 20-59051 is the same. And these reports are by the deputies that are listed in the original report, plus an additional one, Your Honor. And that would be Lieutenant Appleby. And
it's interesting when we have these things happen because I can't re-review Judge Wilson's PC determination. It's just not allowed. I have case law I've read, and I know that I can't do it. And my review of this affidavit, I would have found probable cause, but she did not.
Yes, Your Honor.
I can't change her probable cause finding based on the case law. And then obviously these are not sworn to affidavits. There are narratives that are mentioned in the sworn affidavit as supplemental information.
yes, Your Honor, and the state would ask the court to take note of that. There is an additional one that is not mentioned in the original affidavit, but Lieutenant Appleby's is mentioned and Deputy Cox's is mentioned in the affidavit, Your Honor.
All right,
the
Mr.
sworn
Matos.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. She's giving me this, and I'm trying to locate the PC in it.
Well, I actually find the PC in the original affidavit, but I can't re-review that for purposes of probable cause. There's case law that says that I can't change another judge's probable cause finding. But Ms. Bush has provided supplemental information that is mentioned in the sworn to affidavit as being what they can reference and what they're referencing as to the probable cause. So I'm asking for your response as to that.
But can you specify more of the question? You're asking me if I should allow it. What am
I'm asking you your position on.
I mean, if the first judge didn't find a probable cause and you can't review it on it, then I can't find probable cause on the second affidavit. I would say that there isn't.
I do find probable cause based on the additional supplemental information that is referenced in the sworn to affidavit by, it looks like Franklin Howard, and then it references Lieutenant Appleby's affidavit, which is provided to the court. So I do find the probable cause, and I believe the public defender was appointed yesterday. There were conditions of release that were not imposed. And so I'm going to impose those as no contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. And the bond will stay at $1,000. And it looks like Mr. Raspin is out on release on 2 different cases.
Yeah, I was R&R.
That is a form of release, sir.
Okay.
ROR means released on your own recognizance, okay? So I am going to revoke the releases in 2020 CF 6747 and 2020 CF 778780. Looks like you do have attorneys in those cases, and so they'll have to file any appropriate motions to set bond for you in those cases, sir. Yeah.
Your Honor, next on the list is Shaquan Williams, mental health.
All right. Okay. So I'll appoint the public defender 2020 CF 9853AO. And it looks like this was reset for mental health yesterday as well by Judge Wilson. So Mr. Matos, did you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So this is attempted robbery with a deadly weapon, petty theft, retail offense, and resisting an officer without violence. I do find there's probable cause. And so he is not to have any contact with any victim or witness, no return back to the Walmart at 5734 South Orange Blossom Trail, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I'm going to stay the bonds at $2,500, $100, and $100. Did you let them know, Ms. Glover Gambles, that, okay. So we're not going to do, is it Antoine? Is that the name?
Yes, you are. He does not need the interpreter.
Oh, he does not need the interpreter. Okay, so it looks like Mr. Antoine does not need the interpreter per Ms. Glover Gamble, so whenever we can bring him out, that would be great. All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Christina Butler.
All right, Ms. Butler, you're here in 2020 CF 9881AO. You were arrested for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, domestic violence. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I don't believe we have any witnesses present, so I am going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order form. Did you understand everything on the form that you read?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Okay. You're to maintain a separate residence. If you need to return back, you can go one time with law enforcement to get personal belongings that you may need. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I'm going to place you in pretrial release, so make sure you comply with the court order and pretrial release's requirements, okay?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Good morning. Tell me your name. Can you tell me your name, please?
Name. Oh, Cleve Cutliff. I'm sorry.
Mr. Cutliff, you're here in 2020 CF 9878AO. You're arrested for battery by strangulation, domestic violence. We do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I am ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the form. Do you understand everything on the no contact order, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're also to maintain a separate residence. If you need to return to back to the residence to get any personal belongings, you must be with law enforcement. You can go one time. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Your bond is set at $2,500. All right, good luck, sir.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Antoine Weissner.
I'm sorry?
It's a Creole, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. This is Mr. Antoine?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Antoine, you don't need the Creole interpreter, correct?
Yes, I got mine.
Okay, Miss Glover Gambles is your attorney. She's with me. She's saying that you don't need the interpreter.
No, I don't need interpreter.
Okay, can you tell me your name again?
Weissner Antoine.
Okay, you're here in case number 2020 CF 9871AO. You were arrested for sexual battery on a person over the age of 18 by a person over the age of 18. And I do find probable cause. And Miss Glover Gambles, are you filing a notice of appearance today?
I will, Your Honor.
Okay, want to make sure.
I want to be heard in regards to a reasonable bond for Mr.
Okay,
Antoine.
absolutely, absolutely. It's an F1 punishable by 30, and he's entitled to a bond. And so, did you want to take testimony, or did you want to just make an
Your
argument?
Honor.
Sorry?
What I would say on his behalf is that he resides in Kissimmee with his girlfriend and two children, two daughters who are 5 and 6 years old. He's resided at his residence for the last 9 years. He is gainfully employed at McLean Food Services. He's been there for 4 years, Your Honor. He has full-time study employment. He understands that there should be no contact with the alleged victim in this matter. To my understanding, he has no criminal convictions, Your Honor. And that's what I would say on his behalf.
Okay. And did you want to
Suggest a bond?
suggest a bond, or I don't know if you've had an opportunity to
I
talk to
would
Ms.
ask the
Bush?
court to consider giving him a bond in the amount of $5,000, Your Honor.
Okay. And Ms. Bush, did you wish to be heard as to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. This state would recommend a bond of $25,000.
All right, so Mr. Antoine, I am going to order again, or that you have no contact with the alleged victim in the case. Do you understand that? That means no contact directly or indirectly. You can't have anybody communicate with her. You can't communicate with her in any way, shape, or form. Do you understand?
Okay.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I'm going to set the bond at $15,000. And make sure you keep in touch with Ms. Glover Gambles, okay? Mr. Antoine, I'm talking to you. Do you understand?
Get in touch with your attorney.
Yes.
Okay, you may want to talk to him again just to make sure he understands everything that we just talked about.
I absolutely will, Your Honor.
Okay, all right.
Okay, we'll be
He
working
looked
with
a little confused there, so I just want to make sure he understands. We didn't use the interpreter.
No,
based on
but
your-
he understands, Your Honor. I spoke
Okay.
with him
Okay,
about that.
all right, just want him to make
And
sure he
thank you
keep
very
in
much.
touch with you. as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you. Good morning, tell me your name, please.
Alfred Jerome Kirkland, Jr.
All right, Mr. Kirkland, you're here in 2020 CF 9899AO. You're arrested for battery by strangulation, domestic violence, and violation of a domestic injunction. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I don't believe we have any witnesses present. Mr. Kirkland, I'm going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim in the case. I know that there's an injunction in place and it calls for non-hostile contact, but I'm now making it no contact. So in this case, you're to have no contact. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with law enforcement to get personal belongings that you may need. If there's anything at the residence, okay?
Yes.
You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition, and abide by any DCF investigation if there is one pending. What I'm going to do here is I am going to set a bond, and you're going to be required to report to pretrial release as well. So your bond on count 1 will be $2,500 plus pretrial release. Count 2 will be $500 plus pretrial release. Make sure you comply. I would say comply with the injunction other than the portions of that may change. So you make sure that you're complying with this court order, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, good morning. Tell me your name.
Gina Pollock.
Ms. Pollock, you're here in 2020 CF 9874AO. It's an aggravated assault with a weapon and battery domestic violence. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. And I don't believe we have any witnesses present. So, Ms. Pollock, I am going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Do you understand everything on that order?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you're also to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with law enforcement to get personal belongings that you may need. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I am going to place you in pretrial release. Make sure you comply with the court order as well as pretrial release. If you violate any condition of release, you could be held at no bond, okay? Good luck. All right, good morning. Tell me your name.
Swami?
Mr. Swami?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Swami, you've got 3 cases. 2020 CF 9869AO. That's aggravated assault, domestic violence, and shooting or throwing into an occupied vehicle. And I do find probable cause for those offenses. I'll appoint the public defender in all your cases for you. You've also got 2020 CF 9870AO, aggravated assault, domestic violence. And I do find probable cause, and then I will appoint the public defender as I previously stated. And then you've got 2020 CF 9900AO, and that's 30 counts. 45 counts,
45
or
counts.
44 counts of possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, and then 1 count of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. But I don't find probable cause for those. Maybe the firearm, just based on the they just say that multiple rounds of ammunition were found in his room. And then it says, see Deputy Erickson supplemental. So I don't have any specific number of anything.
Your Honor, the state would ask the court to find probable cause for the firearm and probable cause for 1 count of possession of ammunition, because it says rounds but does not specify the number, and ROR as to the remaining counts.
Okay, so I'll find probable cause for count 1, and then, what is it, count 45, I believe? And I don't find probable cause for counts 2 through 44 based on what's in the affidavit, and the state's not requesting additional time. So I'll ROR on counts 2 through 44. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition in that case. And the bond on count 1 will stay at the $5,000. Count 45 will be $150. And then back to the domestic cases. So I'm going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with any of the victims or any witnesses in the case. So we'll need 2 no contact orders, or can we write both case numbers on it, or do you need 2?
I think I did too.
Okay, I think Madam Clerk said she did too. So, Mr. Swamy, did you understand the no contact order?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so no contact with any victims or any witnesses, maintain separate residences from the victims or any witnesses, may return one time with law enforcement to get your personal belongings, no alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription, no weapons or firearms without a valid, no weapons or firearms. And then if you have any weapons or firearms, you must surrender them within 6 hours of release from the Orange County Jail. And you're to comply with any DCF investigation.
Okay.
And so the bond on the aggravated assault domestic violence in 9869 is set at $1,500. Count 2 will stay at the $5,000. And then on the 9870, that will be $2,500. All right, did you understand everything that I just explained?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good luck, sir.
Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Willie Young, third.
All right, Mr. Young, you're here in 2020 CF 9901AO. You were arrested for false imprisonment and battery dating violence. If you find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender. Don't believe we have any witnesses here, Mr. Young, so I'm going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. Have you signed the no contact order? Did you read it and understand everything on that order, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. You're to abide by the trespass warning. No alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription, and no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Your bond on count 1 is $3,500. Count 2 is $500. Thank you, sir. Yes? I see you. I don't want you to talk about any facts of anything before you say anything to me. Okay.
No, ma'am. I ain't gonna do that.
All right, Mr. Young.
You told me don't go back to the place where it happened at because of trespassing, right? Okay, but
Yeah,
they told me upon my release they got like 3 bags of my clothes, shoes, and property.
Okay. I'll let you go back with law enforcement one time to get your things, okay?
Yes, ma'am. So
all right, just make sure. Call the police. They'll tell you where to go and to where to wait for them. Don't just go over there by yourself, and
Yes,
then
ma'am.
you'll probably get arrested again if you're not with law enforcement.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right,
ma'am.
Good luck. All right. Good luck.
Your Honor, next on the list, Naisha Felder, refused court.
Okay, I'm gonna find her refusal to be a waiver and appoint the public defender, 2020 MM 5977AO. It's battery, domestic violence. There's probable cause. She's to have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim in the case, to maintain a separate residence. She's not to return back to the Aquatica Water Park at 5800 Water Play Way. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Her bond is $500.
That's not y'all. Your Honor, next on the list, Krista Goodwin, medical.
All right. I'm going to appoint the public defender, 2020 MM 5972AO. Mr. Matos, do you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we do have a witness coming in the box as well. So she was arrested for battery, domestic violence. I do find probable cause. And can you raise your right hand to be sworn in, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're just going to have to speak up a little bit because you got a mask on and the microphone is a little difficult in there.
Okay.
Can you tell me your name and then spell your last name?
Gene Ramford. Ramfort.
All right, Mr. Ramfort, thank you. Ms. Bush, did you wish to inquire?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Ramford, what is your relationship with Miss Godwin?
Boyfriend and girlfriend too.
Do you live together?
Yes.
Are you afraid of her?
Yes.
And do you want to have contact with her while this case is
Nothing
pending?
whatsoever. Nothing. I don't want nothing to do with her.
Thank you, sir. No
Thank you.
further questions.
All right, Mr. Matos?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Ramfort, do you think any drugs or alcohol had any involvement?
She was drinking, not I don't do drugs. When she got arrested, she was drinking. She was drunk.
She was drunk?
Yes.
Okay, so you think alcohol had something to do
And
with
something else. I could put my hand, but it wasn't just alcohol. It was something else.
it? So you think alcohol may be drugs?
I believe drug was involved.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm going to order that Miss Goodwin is not to have any contact directly or indirectly with the victim. So that means that she can't call you, send you letters, email, text, have another person try to communicate anything to you, okay? If she does that, she's in violation of the court order, okay? And she'll be explained all of this before she's released, okay?
Okay.
She's to maintain a separate residence from you. So does she live with you?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to allow her to go back and get her things with law enforcement. She has to be with law enforcement. If she doesn't go with law enforcement, she's in violation of the court order, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So she's got to call them ahead of time, and they'll tell her where to go, and then she can go with law enforcement to get her things from the residence, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
No weapons or firearms or any ammunition, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm not sure if the Department of Children and Families was contacted or not. It appears as though there were children present. So I'm going to order that if there is a DCF investigation, that she comply with that investigation. She does qualify for pretrial release, so I'm going to release her to that with random urinalysis. I don't know if they'll be testing or not right now, but it will be a part of the order if they do start testing. So she won't be able to possess or consume any alcohol. If she tests positive for anything, her release could be revoked.
Okay.
Okay? And if you're in fear for your safety, you can call the state attorney's office, and you can also get an injunction through the clerk's office.
I need to do that today.
Huh?
I need to do that. I need to get that injunction today.
So I can't give you legal advice, but you can call the state attorney's office, and they
Sure.
may be able to help you with that.
Sure.
Okay?
All right.
All right. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Ramport.
Okay.
Okay, good morning. Tell me your name.
Matthew Hamilton.
All right, Mr. Hamilton, you're here in 2020 MM 697AW. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Are there any witnesses present for Mr. Hamilton?
No, Your Honor.
No? Okay. So, Mr. Hamilton, I am going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Do you understand everything on that order?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm also ordering that you maintain a separate residence, so if you need to return back with law enforcement to get your things, you may do so one time. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Your bond will be set at $1,000. All right, thank you. Keep in touch with the public defender's office.
Okay, thank you.
You go ahead.
Good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Otivio Ivan.
All right, Mr. Ivan, you're here in 2020 MM 189180. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for 3 counts of battery domestic violence. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. I am ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Did you understand everything on that no contact order?
Yes. I don't understand my warrant though, Your Honor. I don't know who I talked to about that. But there
What
was no
don't you understand?
There was no statement ever written about any domestic violence case.
I don't know if you've read the warrant itself, the affidavit. There's an affidavit attached to the warrant, sir.
Yeah, I don't have any. There was no statement ever written about my case.
Okay, well, the public defender can provide that to you.
Okay.
They're here in the courtroom. If they want to print that out and provide that to you, they can do that.
Okay, thank you.
So, but the warrant has already been, probable cause was found pursuant to the warrant, so I can't change that, okay? So you're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. Looks like Volcano Bay, so 6000 Universal Boulevard at Volcano Bay. You're not to go back there. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. If you have any weapons or any firearms, you'll need to surrender them to law enforcement within 6 hours of your release from the Orange County Jail.
Okay.
I don't think that they live together. You did not live together, correct?
No.
Okay. And so I am going to set your bond at $500 on each count. All right, you can get with the public defender's office and they can explain whatever you don't understand, okay? I don't want you to say anything on the record today that may hurt your case, okay?
All right. Thanks, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Can you tell me your name, please?
Repeat.
I'm sorry?
I thought you said something.
Tell me your name.
Oh, Trayshawn Jones.
Okay, Mr. Jones, you're here in 2020 MM 5970AO. It's dating violence battery, and I do find probable cause. Then I'll appoint the public defender, and we do not have any witnesses present, so I'm going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Do you understand everything on the no contact order?
Yes.
All right, looks like they do have the same address. You all live together?
Actually, last Monday, I turned myself to the Coalition Halfway House, and they is helping me to get me my apartment right now.
Okay, so you don't have anything left at her residence? Okay, so you're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred.
Okay.
That's her residence.
Right.
And then you're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition.
Right.
I'm going to place you in pretrial release, Mr. Jones. Make sure you comply with the court order as well as their conditions, okay?
All right.
Good luck.
Oh.
Good morning. Please tell me your name.
Giselle Melendez Peña.
All right, ma'am, you're here in 2020 MM 5978AO. It's a battery, domestic violence. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender, and we do not have any witnesses present, so I'll
Yes,
order.
we do,
Oh,
Your
we
Honor.
do? Oh,
He's
okay.
coming up.
Excellent. All right, please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Hello?
Please raise your right hand to be sworn in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I will.
Okay, you're gonna have to speak a little louder and into the microphone, okay?
Okay.
Can you state your name for me and spell your last name?
Pedro Crespo,
All right, Mr. Crespo, can you spell your last name?
TRESPO.
All right, Ms. Bush, did you wish to inquire?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Crespo, what is your relationship with Miss Melendez?
We are boyfriend, girlfriend.
And do you all live together?
No,
How long have you been in a relationship with her?
9 months.
And over the course of the 9 months, has there been any violence?
No,
Are you afraid of her?
no,
Do you want to have contact with her while this case is pending?
yes.
And if something like this were to happen again, and you felt that your safety was threatened, would you call law enforcement?
I will.
I have one other question. Do you believe that alcohol or any kind of controlled substance contributed to her behavior?
Well, yesterday we was drinking, yeah.
Okay. Alcohol or?
Alcohol.
All right. I have no further questions.
Oh.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Matos?
No questions
Do
from
you know, Mr. Matos, if Ms. Melendez wishes to have contact with Mr. Crespo?
Miss Melendez, could you hear me?
Oh, no.
Miss Melendez,
Sorry.
do you wish to have contact with Mr. Crespo?
No.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Crespo, thank you for your testimony, but I'm going to order that there's to be no contact today based on my review of the affidavit. And so if you all want that to be changed, it'll have to be changed in writing at a later date by a judge. So I'm going to have her sign the no contact order. So it would behoove you or benefit you not to contact her, because if she has communication with you, that violates the court order.
I totally understand.
And I have no control over what you do, but I do have control over what she does. So no contact, okay?
Can I say something?
Sure.
Yeah. She don't deserve this. She's a good woman. So
Well, I haven't charged her with anything. The police arrested her, and the state attorney's office will make a charging decision. You can call them and tell them what you want to happen. If you don't want to proceed with the case, you can tell them that, and they may or may not file charges, but they make that decision. I don't. Okay? All right. So, Ms. Melendez, did you understand everything on the no contact order?
I do.
Okay. You're to maintain a separate residence. I know you don't live together, but continue to maintain the separate residence. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And I am going to place you in pretrial release, so make sure you comply with the court order, okay? Thank you, sir. All right, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Claude Richard Moore, III.
All right, Mr. Moore, you're here in 2020 MM 698AW. You were arrested for assault, domestic violence. I don't find probable cause for the offense. I have no idea what threats were made or how they were made or how they were possibly going to be carried out.
And Your Honor, the state would ask for 24 hours.
So I'm going to give the state the 24 hours. However, I am going to address any conditions of release, and I am going to set a bond today. I'm not going to have him held at no bond. And we do have a witness present. So, sir, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Can you tell me your name and spell your last name?
Claude Richard Moore, Moore.
Okay. And then is he your son?
He is my son.
Okay. All right. I can hear you.
Can you? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. Ms. Bush, did you wish to inquire?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Moore, do you want to have contact with your son while this case is pending?
Yes, I do.
Are you afraid of your son?
No, I'm not.
And Mr. Moore, yesterday, did you believe that your son could make good on the threats that he made toward you?
Well, in hindsight, I have to say that I don't think he would.
I'm sorry.
sorry.
It's now
In
it's a little
hindsight.
harder to hear you. So
Just speak closer to the microphone.
In hindsight, I don't think he would have.
Okay. But at the time, did you believe that he could have followed through?
Well, I know that we were both angry.
And Mr. Moore, in what manner did your son threaten you?
Verbally,
And what kind of threats did he make?
well, he said something to the effect that he was going to fuck me up.
I'm sorry?
you can say it. It's fine.
Something to the effect he was going to fuck me up.
Okay. And what did you take that to mean?
That he was thinking about possibly assaulting me, hitting me.
Okay. And at the time that he made that threat, did you feel that your safety and physical safety was in jeopardy?
I think it was a matter of hurt feelings because he is my son. He was disrespecting me as his father and also as a, quote, senior citizen. So I think it was a heat of the moment. He's never touched me in his life. So I think that there was more anger and disappointment more than anything else.
Okay. So at the time, you were not fearful that he would?
Well, certainly at that time I thought that he might, yes.
Okay. And do you and he live together?
We do for now.
Do you feel safe having him come back home if he's allowed to come back home?
I feel perfectly safe.
If something like this were to happen again, and you were to be put in fear and concern for your safety again, would you call law enforcement?
I'd be very surprised if this happened again, but I think if I felt like I was going to be threatened physically, I would probably call for law enforcement.
All right. Thank you, sir. I do have one more question. Do you believe that alcohol or any kind of substance might have contributed to your son's behavior?
I don't have any firsthand knowledge of that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Moss.
Mr. Moore.
Oh, hold on, sir. A couple more questions for you.
Mr. Moore, at the time when you guys were having the argument,
I'm a little hard of hearing.
You might want to get a little closer to the microphone.
Can you hear me better now?
Oh, yeah, great.
Just making sure. At the time when you guys were having the argument, did Mr. Moore, my client, act in any way, took any action that would make you feel that the threat of him doing anything to you would be imminent at the time?
Well, I came out of we have, it's a house that has several bedrooms. And I came out of my bedroom, going to the kitchen, and he was standing in the hallway between me and the kitchen. Is that your question?
But did he make any movements, gestures?
He didn't make any steps toward me, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, that was what I was asking. Thank you so much, Mr. Moore.
Okay. So, Ms.
And, Your Honor, the state would submit that with Mr. Moore Sr.'s testimony, that the state would ask the court to find that probable cause occurred during the altercation. The son made a statement that led Mr. Moore to believe that he was going to physically harm him.
Okay. Mr. Moore, what was the distance between the two of you?
You know, I'm 75. I don't hear that great.
What was your distance when he made the threat?
Oh, probably from here to a little beyond this microphone on this table here.
Okay, so 5, 6 feet maybe?
More like 10 or 12.
Okay, I'm not good at distance.
I noticed that.
Okay, so Mr. Matos, what is your argument?
My argument, Your Honor, is that assaults require more than just threats. It requires some sort of action that would make the threat imminent for his fear. And my client, Mr. Moore, even though he was standing there, he made no threats. He made no steps or acts that would actually create that would meet the second part of the element of assault.
Okay, well, the assault is actually a subjective, so it's actually objective. So it's a reasonable person, and I understand that, he at the time believed that he could have carried out the threat. It's just why I think law enforcement was called. So I don't know. I believe that has been established through his sworn testimony. Whether the state charges this case is another situation entirely, and he does qualify for pretrial release. So in lieu of resetting the case, I'm going to find that the testimony meets the threshold for the assault, the bottom of the threshold. And so we won't reset it, and there is probable cause. And so, Mr. Moore, I'm going to allow you to have contact with your dad. This means non-hostile, non-violent contact. So you can't be disrespectful to him. You can't be mean to him. You can't say any threatening words to him. You can't get in his face. You can't punch him, bite him, kick him, scratch him, hit him. Do you understand all of that?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
So you don't even get to raise your voice at your dad. If you get upset, you walk away. You go for a walk around the block, go for a drive. Go to the
Yes, ma'am.
workout.
I would like to state that after I made the statement, I did walk away.
I don't want you to talk about the facts of the case, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, okay. That's not going to benefit you today. So, again, no hostile, nonviolent contact, and you're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I'm going to place you on pretrial release. He'll be released today, Mr. Moore. I don't know when they'll have to process him. So, you can call if you're going to pick him up. Are you planning on picking him up?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So you can call the jail and ask to speak with pretrial release. They'll let you know, or they may call you when he is released if you're the emergency contact.
I'd like to request that he call me.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can they call him?
We will contact him before we release him.
Okay. They'll contact you before he is to be released, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Good luck. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Moore. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Please tell me your name.
Raquel Palacios.
All right. Ms. Palacios, you're here in 2020 MM 401AA. You're arrested for battery, domestic violence. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. And we do not have any witnesses present. I am ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Do you understand everything on the no contact order?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're also not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. You're to abide by the trespass warning. It looks like they trespassed you. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And I am going to place you in pretrial release. Make sure that you comply with the court order as well as pretrial release, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Christopher Parks.
All right. And then do we have the other defendant that was arrested with Mr. Parks? It's Desiree Trail.
Yeah, she's right.
She's the... All right, Mr. Parks, you're here 2020 MM 5974AO. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. If you find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
Desiree Trail.
All right, Ms. Trail, you're here in 2020 MM 5975AO. That's a battery domestic violence. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. You also have 2020 MM 5976AO, and that is a battery. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Bush, did you want me to inquire, or
Yes,
be a
Your
little
Honor.
easier? Okay. So, Mr. Parks, how do you know Ms. Trail?
She's my
related
cousin.
you?
Yeah, she's my
And
cousin.
then, do you live together?
Yes.
Are you afraid of her?
No.
Do you want to have contact with her through the pending of the case?
Yes.
Has there been any violence in your relationship in the past?
No.
Is this the first time law enforcement has been called to the residence or anywhere
Yes.
in relation to you two?
Yes.
Okay, and you're telling me that you're in absolutely no fear for your safety?
Correct.
Okay. Are there any children in the residence?
No.
No children in the residence?
No.
All right, does anyone else have any questions for, well, let me ask you, if something like this were to happen again, would you feel comfortable calling law enforcement?
Yeah.
Okay, do you think drugs or alcohol had any involvement in what happened?
No.
Okay, anybody else have any questions for Mr. Parks?
None from the state, Your Honor.
None from the defense, Your Honor.
Okay, and then Ms. Trail, how do you know Mr. Parks?
He's my cousin.
And then, are you afraid of him?
No.
Do you want to have contact with him through the pending of the case?
Yeah.
Has there been any violence in your relationship in the past?
No.
Do you think any drugs or alcohol had any involvement in what
No.
happened? Okay. Something like this were to happen again, would you call law enforcement?
Yes.
Does anyone else have any other questions for Ms. Trail?
None from the state, Your Honor.
None for the defense, Your Honor.
Okay. And then we do have another victim in that case. It's not a domestic case. In the 5976 case. Okay. All right, I'm going to let you two have non-hostile, non-violent contact. There's a lot going on in this affidavit, and it may be a bad decision that I'm allowing this, but I'm going to allow it, so don't let me down. If things get heated, you walk away. You don't take it out on each other or anybody else. Do you both understand that?
Yes.
Okay, so
Thank
you can't get in each other's faces, you can't say mean things to each other, you can't be disrespectful, you can't hit, punch, bite, scratch, nothing like that. All right, no pepper spraying anybody, okay? Everybody got me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition. So if you have pepper spray, I'd get rid of it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I have a question about that. I do own a firearm. Do I have to get rid of it? Isn't
You'll
it
have
safe?
you're not going to be able to, while this case is pending, have a firearm in your possession. So you'll have to surrender that to law enforcement within 6 hours of your release from the jail.
Will I get it back after this is over?
That is a possibility. I can't give you any legal advice, but I don't see any reason why you wouldn't get it back unless you were not allowed to have it, okay?
Okay.
Okay? So I'm going to place you in pretrial release, Mr. Parks. Make sure you comply with the court order. That includes the firearm, okay?
Yep.
And then Ms. Trail, the same conditions apply, the no hostile, non-violent contact, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition.
Okay.
And so you do qualify for pretrial release, and then you have the other case too. So in that case, you're not to have any contact with the victim in that case. No weapons or firearms. Miss Camposano?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't have any contact with her.
Okay.
Okay? So So no contact with Miss Camposano, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I'm gonna place you on pretrial release. Make sure that you comply with the court order. If you do not, and you get arrested for violating it, or any other arrest, you could be held at no bond. Understand?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So Miss Capusano is my girlfriend, so she's not allowed on our property?
Well, that's tricky. I can't tell you how that's gonna work, but she cannot have contact with her, okay, unless it's changed in writing. So you may not want to have her come over the house if she's present, okay?
But is that like a mandated law that you're saying that she can't come to the house?
I'm not telling you what she can and can't do.
Okay.
If she comes to the house and Miss Trail is there, then Miss Trail is then in violation of the no contact order. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
I have a question.
Yep.
So if she comes there, I could call the cops on her, right?
No, I have no jurisdiction over her. You are not to have contact with her.
Yeah, but he invites her over and we're both on the lease. How does that work?
I'm not getting involved. You can contact the public defender if you want legal advice, but she can do whatever she wants. If she comes over to the house, you can't be there because she's at the house and you're then having contact with her. So maybe Mr. Parks doesn't invite her over to the house.
Right.
All right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Wolf Pavlik?
All right, Mr. Pavlik, you're here in 2020 MM 5966. You were arrested for battery, dating, violence. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender, and we do have a witness. Ma'am, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, and you're just going to have to speak up a little bit. Can you tell me your name and spell your last name for me?
My name is Kathleen Whalen. It's spelled Whalen.
All right, Miss Whalen. Miss Bush, did you wish to inquire?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Miss Whalen, what is your relationship with Mr. Pavlik?
We're engaged.
And do you all live together?
Yes.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Do you want to have contact with him during the pendency of this case?
Yes.
How long have you been together?
A little over 3 years.
Over the course of the 3 years, whether or not it was reported, has there been violence in your relationship?
Yes, once before.
Once before?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you the victim?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you believe that alcohol or any kind of controlled substance might have contributed to his behavior?
Yes, he had been drinking. We both had.
I'm sorry?
We had both been drinking, yes.
Okay. And now the next question is whether or not, to your knowledge, he's on any medication and hasn't been taking his medication, and that might have contributed to his behavior.
Not to my knowledge, no.
All right. And if something like this were to happen again, would you call law enforcement?
Yes, I would.
All right. Thank you. I have no further questions, ma'am.
Just one question, Your Honor. Ma'am, you said that there was an incident prior to this. How long ago was that incident?
It was a little over a year ago.
No further questions, Your Honor.
What happened with that case? Do you know? Was he
no, I
arrested?
didn't
Because
call
I'm
the
not
police or
showing
anything.
I'm not showing any other arrests.
No, I didn't call the police or anything like that.
Okay, and so nothing happened with the case.
No.
Okay, there really wasn't a case. What
No.
You're saying. Okay, all right. And you're not in fear of him whatsoever.
No.
Okay. All right. Mr. Pavlik, I'm going to let you have non-hostile, non-violent contact with the victim in the case. So that means no hitting, no slapping, no punching, no kicking, no biting, no scratching, no getting in her face, no saying mean things to her, no being disrespectful. No texting mean things. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if things get heated, what do?
Step away.
Right. Okay. And so you're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm going to place you in pretrial release. Make sure you comply with the court order as well as pretrial release, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Whalen.
Thank you.
And then do we know, did O'Brien bond out? It's
Yes.
2001 8078 bonded? Okay.
Yes.
Take no action on O'Brien. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Michael Webb.
All right, Mr. Webb, you're here in 2020 CT 5020, 20 CT 5022, 20 CT 5023, and 20 CT 5024. And you were arrested for no valid driver's license, driving while your license is suspended, no motor vehicle license, and no motor vehicle registration. I do find probable cause. Did you want to try to resolve your case today, Mr. Webb?
Yeah.
Or your cases, I should say. All right. Let me look at your driving history. Ms. Bush, I don't know if you had a chance to look at anything.
He has
I have not, Your Honor, but I do see that he has at least 2 fleeing and attempting to elude convictions.
Right.
and a driver's license in 2016.
Yeah, so this would habitualize him if we pled it. So if we pled out your case today, you would lose your license for 5 years. So I don't want you to make that decision today without having the benefit of really talking with an attorney about the consequences of the plea. Mr. Webb, do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to order that you're not to drive without a valid driver's license. And I'm going to stay the bond at the $500 on count 1. I'm going to ROR on count 2. And count 3 will stay at 100. And count 4 will stay at 100. All right, so make sure you keep in touch with the public defender, and you want to make sure that they understand that they need to look at your driving history before you accept any offer or any plea, okay?
Okay. Come over, son. I'm coming.
There's a lot more arraignments than there are on here and then on the docket. Like in Odyssey, I have 10
Oh, some of them.
or 9. Some of them.
I should have took them out. Some
Oh,
of them
okay.
bonded and some of them had.
Okay, all right. I was going to
written
say
plea or
there's
not
a lot
guilty.
more in here. All right, do we have
Armstrong, medical, Your Honor.
Armstrong is medical. And so the PD was previously appointed 2020 CT 484AA. And Mr. Matos, did you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Division 83, pretrial conference date will be, my glasses falling off. September 21st at 9 a.m., courtroom 6C.
Next, we have
All right.
Joseph Cruz, medical.
Okay, I had a Ponte. Is he not in jail any longer? He's a written plea of not guilty? Okay, so they already have the court dates for that? Okay. So Cruz, you said, I'm sorry,
He's medical.
medical? All right, so that's
Yes.
2020 CT 4791AO. PD was previously appointed. And Mr. Matos, did you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Division 63, pretrial conference date will be September 24th, 8:30 a.m., courtroom 4D. Guess that's
Next is James Horn, medical.
Okay, I had Lane next. Crystal Lane I had, or written plea of not guilty? Okay. And then I had Rexton and he bonded, okay. Meredith, bonded. All right, and then there's a written plea for Sparkman. And then Horn. I'm sorry, what did you say about Horn?
Medical.
Medical? Okay, so that's 2020 MM 338AA, and the PD was previously appointed. Mr. Matos, do you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's Division 50. Pretrial conference day will be September 14th at 2:30 p.m. Courtroom 7C.
And I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, that was Division 50?
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we have an email from Judge Shoemaker's office on that one, and it's supposed to stay in Division 50. So while it was filed as a battery, it's staying in Division 50, per Judge Shoemaker. All right. All right. Tell me your name.
Reginald Huntley Daniels.
All right, Mr. Huntley Daniels, you're here in 2020 MM 1284AO, and the PD was previously appointed. Looks like you were charged with trespass on property. Well, let me pull up the information. So the information charges trespass on property other than a structure or conveyance and resisting an officer without violence. Both are misdemeanors of the first degree, and they were alleged to have occurred on or about February 16, 2020. Are you on probation? Mr. Huntley Daniels, are you on probation?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Was there an offer? Is this going to be resolved today, Mr. Matos?
We have an offer. It was adjudicated guilty, 30 days in Orange County Jail. No contact with the victim or witnesses, and NRS. I don't know what that stands for.
No return to the scene, RG Colonial Plaza on East Colonial Drive. Abide by trespass warnings and court costs.
Okay, it looks like he has credit for time served of 30 days.
Yes,
and Your Honor, the state wasn't sure because the state's calculation was 1 day.
I'm showing 30 days.
Yeah.
Mr. Huntley Daniels, did you want to accept the offer?
I just wanted to be a little more clear on what's going on right now.
Okay, so you've been charged with the charges that I explained: trespass on property other than a structure or conveyance and resisting an officer without violence. Those were both alleged to have occurred on February 16th, 2020. The state has made an offer to resolve your case. You would be adjudicated guilty. You would get 30 days. You've already served 30 days, so it's credit for time served. You can't have any contact with any victims or witnesses. You cannot return back to the RG Colonial Plaza. And you abide by the trespass warning. And I would impose court costs. I'd give you a year to pay your court costs off. Do you want to do that today?
Your Honor, I just had one question. Do I have any other cases holding me here in this?
I have
jail?
no idea.
I'm saying, if I take the plea, would I be released today?
Does he have anything else holding him? Anybody know?
He's here on a felony case, Your Honor. He's not here on that.
Okay, so it looks like you have a felony case pending. But this would resolve this case today.
So I'll take the time served, but the thing is, I already came to jail for that and did 30 days for that.
Right. So I'm giving you the credit for the time that you served. You're not in jail on this case apparently. You're in jail on a felony. So it's a credit for time served offer. You wouldn't be getting any more credit on this case, right? Is that correct?
That's correct. For the misdemeanor case.
And Your Honor, his release was never revoked. So he is truly, when he came back to jail, he was never back in jail on this case.
Okay, so let's see
And
here.
he was
So you're saying
ROR'd.
that credit for time served is not accurate?
Yes, Your Honor. He was ROR'd with 1 day credit time served.
I'm
but-
showing, well, that's not, I'm showing he was released on his own recognizance in March. He was arrested for this in February.
Okay, Your Honor. I'm sorry. When I looked at the release,
It was signed by
It
Judge
said-
Carter on March 16th.
okay, then
Yes, this-
I just misread it. I showed February 16th.
So that's 30 days.
Okay, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so
The
Mr.
state
Huntley
withdraws.
Daniels, you are not being held on this case, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you have the 30 days credit for time served. I can't do anything with your felony. All right?
Okay.
So do you want to resolve the case with the credit for time served? You're not in jail on this case. They just brought you here because you're in jail and we set you for an arraignment.
Yes, I'll take the time served.
Okay. Did you read the plea form?
I did, but I just thought that I was here because the case that I got arrested for was being dropped to a misdemeanor.
I have no idea about your other case, okay?
Okay.
You're only here for this in front of me today. I don't know anything about your other case.
Okay.
Did you understand everything on the plea form?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
I really
They're
don't
all
know.
listed in the plea form, all the rights that you're giving up. There won't be a jury trial. You won't have the ability to cross-examine the state's witnesses. The state won't have to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to remain silent.
Okay. Could I enter a plea of no contest?
Yes, you can, but do you understand all the rights that you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. And just to be clear, this is for the trespassing and resisting without violence case?
Correct.
Okay. So yes, I would like to enter no contest.
All right, are you on probation anywhere?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I find a factual basis based on the affidavit in the court file to accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty on each count. Sentence you to 30 days with credit for 30 days time served, concurrent on each count. You're not to have any contact with any victim or witness in the case. You may not return back to that plaza.
It's the RG Colonial Plaza at 6096 East Colonial Drive in Orlando.
Okay, so no return back to 6096 East Colonial Drive. Abide by the trespass warning. I'll impose court costs and order you pay those by August 17th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're on the next on the list, Lindor Wolf, medical.
All right, 2020 MM 159780, and it doesn't look like the PD was previously appointed. So I'm going to appoint the public defender. Mr. Matos, did you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Division 80. Pretrial conference date will be September 9th, 9 a.m., courtroom 9C.
Next on the list, Logi Jimmy, medical.
Okay, I had Peterson. Is he?
And I believe you did a written plea of not
Anything
guilty.
going on
I
with
did a written plea
Peterson?
Oh, and
Rodriguez? Peterson?
That's, I believe defense did a written plea of not guilty.
All right. And then Mark
Shola?
You said the defense did a written plea of not guilty?
I can check that, but I'm
These
pretty sure.
arraignments are always.
He's going to double check that.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it too.
I didn't see one earlier, but
I've never been big. Anyone that you send me that have
see what it
Unless
And
it
that
was
one
filed
had no
today,
offer.
there's no written plea of not guilty.
Because it was.
Do we know where Peterson is?
Peterson. He's medical, Your Honor. Rodriguez
Okay.
Peterson.
Yeah, 2020 MM 5407AO, and the PD was previously appointed. Mr. Matos, did you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, for Mr. Peterson, it does, my system is saying that. I
Right,
did.
it hasn't been filed yet.
Division 50, pretrial conference date will be September 14th at 2:30 p.m., courtroom 7C.
Okay, sure.
All right, tell me your name, please.
Mark Scholler.
All right, Mr. Schaller, you're here in 2020 MM 4879AO, and the PD was previously appointed in your case, charged with resisting an officer without violence, and that's a misdemeanor of the first degree, alleged to have occurred on or about July 4th, 2020.
Yes.
And are you on probation, Mr. Schaller?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Is there an offer?
There was an offer, Your Honor. And Mr. Matos, did you want to?
Yeah. Adjudicated guilty, 60 days in Orange County bail, no contact with victim or witnesses, and no return to Wood Spring Suites, 4021 Claracona Ocosi Road, Orlando, Florida.
4125 Claracona Coy Road, Orlando.
And abide by the court orders and court costs. Right.
Okay, Mr. Schaller, did you understand any of that?
No, ma'am. No, I didn't.
Okay. All right. So the state's offer is an adjudication of guilt with 60 days in the Orange County Jail. You have credit for 45 days time served. You cannot have any contact with any victims or witnesses in the case.
That's no problem.
And then no return back to
The Wood Spring Suites, Your Honor.
Wood Spring Suites at 4125 Clarcona Ocoee Road.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to accept the offer?
Yes.
Okay, did you read the plea form?
No, I did. I can't. I don't have glasses right now. I don't have my reading glasses. They were broke when I was arrested, and
Okay, well, I'm not going to be able to take your plea if you can't read the plea form.
I can pretty much read it, but I don't have any reading glasses with me. When I got arrested, I can't. I mean.
All right, Mr. Matos, I don't know if you want to enter
Yeah,
a
I'll
plea.
go read it for me, huh?
You want to go over there and speak with him. All right, why don't we have Mr. Schaller step back, because Mr. Matos is going to come over there. Do we know what's going on with Timon Watler?
He refused court, Your Honor.
All right. That's
And
2020
also-
MM 5006AO. Yes, Ms. Bush?
Also, Mr. Matos believed that he had filed a written plea of not guilty.
In this case?
And it may not have reached the system yet. But he
I mean,
emailed
it
me.
takes a couple days, so yeah, sometimes it's not immediate. So my guess is that he wants to enter a plea of not guilty.
Yes, Your Honor.
If he's saying that he filed one, then.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So we'll enter a plea of not guilty based on that for Mr. Watler. That's Division 50.
It'll be September 14th at 2:30 p.m. Courtroom 7C. Division 50.
He's all set, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Schaller, did you go over the plea form with Mr. Matos?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any questions that he did not answer for you, or did you have any other questions?
No, I accept all the charges and everything, and I'm willing to do it. I said to do it. Go ahead to 15 more days in jail.
Okay. All right. And are you on probation anywhere?
No, I know, but I have a bond. I mean, they revoked my bond. I was bonded out, and I go to a felony case that I did need to re-register.
Okay. I don't know anything about your felony case, but I'm talking about this case.
Yes, that's
okay?
fine.
All right. So do you understand everything that we're doing today?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am. I know that.
Okay. And so you understand that you cannot return back to that Springwood Suites, right?
Yes, ma'am. I know that.
Okay. All right. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 60 days with credit for 45 days time served. No contact with any victims or witnesses, and no return back to that Wood Spring Suites, 4125 Clarkona Ocoee Road. Okay. And I'll order you pay your court costs by August 17, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Good luck.
Okay, how much is the court case? The court costs?
223.
273.
273.
Okay, thank you. Is there any way I can make any payments? Because I get a...
You can pay it. I'm giving you a whole year to pay it. So you can make payments whenever you want to make them, as long as you pay it within the year.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. All right, and then we have I think you said Jimmy Lorjak.
He's medical, young.
Okay, so we have a motion for him. Who are you? Can you tell me your name, sir?
Yes, ma'am. My name is, it's Christopher Del Valle.
Status here.
Okay. Mr. Del Valle, you're here on a status hearing out of Osceola County, 2019 CT 3673 and 2019 CT 2797. And per Judge Epperson, your bond is to remain at none. So the next step here is for the Public Defender's Office to file a motion here in Orange County for you, for that to be heard, okay?
Okay. Ma'am, can I say something? I had no idea. I've been calling my PO that I had even court in July. That's the only reason I'm here is because I missed.
I don't know anything about what's going on in Osceola. So you have the public defender here. I would reach out to them and find out if they can help you with your case. You may be able to resolve your case and resolve it completely here in Orange County without going to Osceola. So you want to ask them about that.
Okay, when I call this number from the jail, it doesn't go through. It says that number is not valid.
What's the number?
The 407-836-4800.
Well, it's a real number. So I don't know. Maybe you're not using the phone correctly, because that's the public defender's office.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so we have a motion for release on his own recognizance or on the alternative to continue the finding of incompetence and place the defendant on conditional release for Mr. Lorgiat. And so Mr. Matos, he's medical. If you want to waive, we can go forward with the motion.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, it's your motion.
You asked me if I wanted to waive to go forward with the motion.
Huh?
You asked me if I wanted to waive to go forward with the
Do
motion?
you want to go forward with the motion?
Yes.
Okay, it's your motion.
Okay. Let me read it out. Motion for
No, you just need to make your arguments on the motion and ask the court to. That's about it.
Your Honor, based on the motion, I'm just hearing that the defendant does not meet the criteria for the commitment. That the defendant, but the defendant may be released on the appropriate release conditions. That there has been any evidence submitted that the defendant would meet the criteria for involuntary hospitalization. The defendant is in the process of being scheduled for a current competency evaluation. Relevant facts is. So the since March 10, the owner have been found to be incompetent to proceed, and there has not been any hearings or order to find the defendant competent to proceed ever since. That's pretty much what I got from the motion that I was sent, Your Honor.
Got it?
Do you want me to read the case law that follows it?
No, I know the case law.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, that is it.
All right, Ms. Bush?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's first point is that the defendant has not been found incompetent to proceed as to this case. And while he has been found incompetent to proceed in other cases, those orders and findings are based on stale evaluations. I do see in the motion that he is currently scheduled. I don't know if it's in this matter or not. I didn't see any indication in this matter other than this motion that he is currently scheduled for I believe, a PD evaluation. However, the state would ask the court to not continue the findings of incompetence, which are based on stale evaluations. And the state will not stipulate to the finding of incompetence at this time. The state would ask the court to maintain the bond and the conditions of release as set in the bond.
All right, so I have reviewed the motion and all of the evaluations. I've actually looked at the other cases cited to in the motion, in the case filed by Stacy Felter. And I looked at the misdemeanor case, and it looks like Judge Johnson found him incompetent based on nothing, because there's nothing in that case file, no evaluations, no nothing. So I think that he relied on Judge Calderon's order finding him incompetent. All of the evaluations that I looked at were dated March 31st, 2016, May 16, 2016, July 27th, 2016, January 29th, 2019, May 4th, 2019, May 10th, 2019, and May 14th, 2019, and lastly, August 26th, 2019, none of which are within the last 6 months. Thereby, this court cannot rely on those evaluations to make a finding. Additionally, because the state is not stipulating, the court can't make a finding of incompetence either. And so while the state's requesting the bond be stayed, I am going to release him on his own recognizance with the following conditions. He's not to return to, and this is all in a written order, he's not to return to 449 West Main Street, Apopka, Florida, 32712. He's to abide by the trespass warning. He's not to have any contact with any witnesses or victims. He'll reside at 18 North Terry Avenue, Orlando, Florida, 32804, as I believe that was what was indicated in the order that was provided to this court for this case. He's to also maintain contact with the Office of the Public Defender. And so, based on all of that, I'll enter the written order. So I am releasing him on his own recognizance, but I will not make a finding of incompetence based on everything that I just stated.
Understood, Your Honor.
And the written order also specifies and goes into the detailed case law. All right. And then now I've got a 33-day motion for, it's amended, for Brian Ronald Burton, filed by Ms. Bobeck, 2020 CF 5572AO.
A notice of non-filing was filed on August 6th of 2020.
Okay, so that will be granted. And then I've got one filed by David Verrett, conflict counsel for Abraham Yohane Petros, and that is 2020 CF 8462AO.
A notice of non-filing on August 14th.
All right, that will be granted. Okay. And now we've got the PD 33-day motions. Are we all ready on those?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor.
Oh, I've signed all these. You want me to sign these orders? They were attached
no,
to
I'll-
this.
I'll
Okay,
just-
I
I'll
just
just
know
have
these
these.
were already stamped, so I'm just gonna rip them
That's
off.
okay.
Okay. I've got, these are a little out of order from the, so I've got, the first one, the first order I have is 2020 CF 8293AO, Barakat Gebret Sadiq.
A notice of non-filing was filed on August 14th.
Okay, that will be granted. Twenty CF 5951AO, Richard Ferguson.
A notice of non-filing on August 14th.
Okay, the state's filed a notice of non-filing. His pretrial release was revoked on August 1st, but the state's not going to proceed then.
And Your Honor, this state did not see that But at this time, the state's not going to make a
Okay. 2020 CF 8497AO Joshua Priest.
This case was consolidated with 2020 CF 8495. And if I may have just one moment to get to 8495. I apologize, Your Honor.
I see an information
I left that.
which has the 8497 on it.
Yes, Your Honor. And I thought I had the information attached to my paperwork, and I apologize, but there has been an information filed in the consolidation of those cases.
It was filed on August 11th, 2020. So that will be denied. 2020 CF 8496 AO Joshua Priest.
A notice of non-filing on August 14th.
All right, that will be granted. (2020) CF 8525 Renoir Powell.
A notice of non-filing on August 14th.
All right, that will be granted. 2020 CF 8407 Christopher Allen Heitzman.
A notice of non-filing on August 14th.
All right, that will be granted. All right, I think that's it for the morning.
Oh, just one thing, Your Honor.
Yes.
For Ms. Wilson, I would like to ask the court if he can modify the order to allow her to use her weapon for work purposes.
For work purposes?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that was, okay, that was the first case that we handled?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do we have a case number?
Yeah, I can give that to you in
All right,
one
I don't
second.
have any of the paperwork anymore.
The case number is 2020 MM 5980 AO.
Okay, so for her, she can possess her weapon during the course of her employment. She has to have it left at work and locked up at work. She cannot bring it home with her or travel with it in any way, shape, or form. She has to use it at work.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, anything else?
That'd be all.
Okay, and we'll come back at 1. Okay. Can y'all hear me over there?
Yes, we can, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if we lost
Audio.
Thank you, Irvin. Because I've lost my vocabulary. Good afternoon, sir. Can you tell me your name, please?
Jose D. Anderson.
All right, Mr. Anderson, you're here in 2020 MM 5967AO. You were arrested for resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause. And Ms. Bush, did you have an offer?
No, Your Honor, not for Mr. Anderson, and that's based on the facts of the case in general.
Okay, because when I review it, you may be confusing him with Mr. Humetrius. Mr. Anderson, well, maybe you're not, but it seems as though he had a very
limited
portion of
a limited role, Your Honor,
Right.
but based on the totality of the narrative, I was not prepared to convey
Okay,
an
that's
offer.
fine. I just wasn't sure because it was a long narrative and he had a minor portion of it.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, all right, Mr. Anderson, I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you in the case.
May I have-
I am going to stay the bond at the $500.
May I speak for a second, Your Honor?
Mr. Anderson, if you say anything, I have to advise you that everything's being recorded and anything that you say can and probably will be used against you.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I just want to have a simple request because I'm having trouble getting in contact with some of my contacts in order for me to place bonds. So I was asking, is it a possibility, because I'm a relocation of another relocation, and I was asking, is it possibly, could you unsecure my bond or release me on my own recognizance, and I will appear in court on this matter, ma'am.
So, the information that you gave to pretrial release, they're advising.
I was a little bit may I speak again? I don't mean to interrupt you, Your Honor. I was a little bit intoxicated at the time, and I was actually trying to get some rest, and I was kind of incoherent when I was speaking with her. That's why I didn't really get a chance to talk with her.
Okay, where are you living?
Where am I living? I'm residing at the lodging for temporary purposes, but I also have a stable residence here in this county.
Okay, well, you just said you're at a lodging and then you have a stable residence. So give me an address that you're living at.
I don't actually know the address, so I can use the lodging address until I can get the address situated. Is that okay?
No. So what is your address? Do you not have an address for the lodging?
Yes, I do have an address for the lodging. Hold on just a moment now.
Is that the address that's in the affidavit?
Yes.
And it does appear that you haven't been trespassed from there?
No, ma'am, I have not.
Okay. And so that's you're renting that apartment or that number 115?
Yeah.
At 1850 West
yes,
Land
ma'am,
Street?
you consider that an apartment. Yes, ma'am.
That's in your name?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're on the rental there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how long have you been staying there?
Couple days off and on.
A couple days on and off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And how long have you lived in Orlando?
Well, I lived in this general area for years off and on.
What do you mean by general area? I feel like you're not really answering my
So I
question.
mean the Central Florida area. That's the only thing I'm trying to say, ma'am.
So where have you lived? Explain that to me.
Where have I lived besides Orlando?
Yeah.
Dover.
Where's that?
I would say outside of Tampa.
Okay. All right. Mr. Anderson, I don't feel like you have sufficient ties to the community, and I don't really know where you're living, because you're saying this place on and off, and then you also have another address that you live at, and you don't know the address to that, and I just don't feel comfortable releasing on your own recognizance.
Hold on just a second, ma'am.
So I'm going to stay the bond at the $500, sir. Thank you. All right, please tell me your name.
Demetrius Mingo.
All right, Mr. Mingo, you're here in 2020 MM 5969AO. You're arrested for battery, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, and resisting an officer without violence. And I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with any victim or witness in the case, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I'm going to place you in pretrial release, Mr. Mingo. Make sure you comply with the court order as well as pretrial release.
Yes, ma'am. What is pretrial release?
Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Thaddeus Terrell.
All right, Mr. Terrell, you're here in 2020 MM 695AW. You're arrested for trespass after warning and a conveyance. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint, well, let me see. Ms. Bush, did you have an offer?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay.
It's an adjudication of guilt, 5 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no return to any Lynx property, no contact with any victims or witnesses, abide by any trespass warnings and court costs.
All right, Mr. Terrell, did you hear the state's offer?
It's 5 days, 2 days time served.
Yes, and all those other conditions as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you want to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm not going to revoke your release. You do have court coming up for another case that you're out on release on. So make sure you keep in touch with your attorney on that one, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything on the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all the rights that you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
All right, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 5 days with credit for 2 days time served. No return to any Lynx bus station, no contact with any victim or witness, and abide by the trespass warning. I'll order you pay your court costs by August 17th, 2020. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed for you, sir. Good luck. Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
My name is Gary Bruce Smith.
Okay, hold on. Do we know what happened to Judson Bedreen?
He refused court, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm going to appoint the public defender, find his refusal to be a waiver, 2020 MM 696AW, the resisting without and trespass on property after warning. There's probable cause. No contact with any victim or witness. No return to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. Abide by the trespass warning. And I'm going to stay the bond at the 500 and the 100. All right. Mr. Smith.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You are here for a failure to appear, Kepius, for failing to appear at pretrial on August 3rd, 2020. The judge did set your bond at 1,000. Ms. Bush, did you have an offer? Did you want to try to resolve the case today?
Ma'am, I was in the hospital for the last 2 months. I've been in the hospital. I still have my
You want to start the case today, the judge
form.
just
Yeah,
asking you.
yeah. I'm just letting them know.
Okay.
I was in there's no way. I was in.
Okay.
I was in the
All right.
hospital. I've been in the hospital for the last 2 months. I just got
Okay.
released yesterday. Upon my release, they arrested me for this charge.
Okay. Ms. Bush, did you have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
The offer is an adjudication of guilt, 34 days Orange County Jail, 34 days credit time served, no return to the coin laundry at 5260 Silver Star Road in Orlando, no contact with the victim or witnesses, abide by trespass warning, and court costs. And if the court wishes a factual basis, the
I'm going
state-
to pull it up.
All right.
That's fine. Thank you, Ms. Bush. So, Mr. Smith, did you want to accept the state's offer? It's credit for time served. It's all the time that you've already served in the jail for the case. And, you can't go back to the coin laundry where you were trespassed from, and no contact with any victims or witnesses.
Yeah.
Do you want to resolve it today? You would get out today. I don't think there's anything else holding you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you read the plea form?
Yes, I read it. Officer Williams let me read it. I read.
Okay, and did you understand everything on the plea form?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
All the rights that you're giving up by entering the plea?
He's a regional cop.
Excuse me, ma'am.
You understand all the rights that you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
All right. Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. All right, I do find a factual basis based on the affidavit in the court file to accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 34 days with credit for 34 days time served. You cannot return back to 5260 Silver Star Road. That's where you were trespassed. Abide by the trespass warning. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. That's the Super Coin Laundry, so don't go back there, Mr. Smith, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'll order you pay your court costs by August 17th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment, sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck.
Yes,
Have a
ma'am.
good day, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, please tell me your name.
Christopher Parody.
All right, Mr. Parody, you're here on a violation of probation warrant 2019 CT 3034AO, and the judge did set your bond at none. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. It looks like probation made a recommendation. I don't know if that is the state's offer on the case. Ms. Bush, did you need a copy, or do you have a copy?
I have,
Okay.
I have a copy, Your
Okay.
Honor. And based on the fact that the new law violation is the same crime, I'm looking to see the date of this DUI.
A year ago.
He was placed on probation.
He was placed
and-
on probation in Seminole for it, yeah.
Yes, the state will convey the offer.
Okay,
From
so,
probation.
Mr. Parody, the state's offer, if you wanted to resolve the violation of probation today, would be that you'd be sentenced to 30 days in jail. I think you have 3 days today total credit for time served?
Yes, Your Honor.
3? Okay. And that 25 hours of community service would have to be provided, or proof of that would have to be shown to the clerk. Have you done that 25 hours of community service?
Yes, ma'am. I've done everything on probation that needed to be done.
Okay, so you could provide that to the clerk tomorrow?
If I can able to get out, yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm just asking whether or not you've done it. Otherwise, I'm going to give you a certain amount of time, but if you haven't done it, then I would give you a little bit more time to do the community service. So you're telling me you've done it. Then I would revoke and terminate your probation, and any cost of supervision would go to collections court. So that would resolve your case today. As I said, 30 days with credit for the 3 days that you've served. If you did not want to take the offer, you don't have to. But your attorneys will have to file a motion to set bond, or you would have to resolve it in the trial division. What do you want to do?
I'm kind of confused.
What are you
said it'd be
confused
the
about?
30 days.
If you wanted to admit to the violation of probation today, I would sentence you to 30 days with credit for the 3 days that you've served. You have 1 day on the original and 2 on the violation of probation. So that's 3 days. Then I would give you an opportunity to provide, when you get released, the community service proof to the clerk. And then all your probation collections, supervision costs would go to collections. And your probation would be terminated today.
It's really hard to do 30 days when you provide for your family. They don't.
Okay, well, you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to
I
accept
don't have
the
money
state's
for a
offer.
lawyer. I'm the only one that provides, so I don't have money to get out and get a lawyer or anything. So.
Okay, well, I've appointed the public defender, so I'm gonna, we'll enter a denial on your behalf. And I think you know what you've alleged to have violated with. It's the DUI on August 3rd, 2019. And then also a moving traffic violation of a driver's license restriction for business purposes only on the same day. And then that you failed to pay $50 a month cost of supervision. For
That
the
was
month
also
of
paid as
June
well. I have proof
20th.
of that too.
Okay. Well, you'll have to provide all of that to the trial division and your attorney. So we'll get you a date, sir.
But I know I'm guilty. I don't know why I need to go to trial. That don't make sense.
Well, you don't have anybody to talk to today, and you seem a little confused about what's going on, so I'm not comfortable taking a plea today, and you're going to have to talk to your public defender about the case, okay?
VLP status date will be September 14th at 1:30 p.m., courtroom 6C.
Can I just resolve this?
I told you what it was to resolve it, and you didn't
Okay.
want the case to resolve
No,
it. So
no, I
I'm
didn't
not
say
going to
that.
resolve it today, sir. I'm not going to resolve it today. You can have your attorney set it for a plea. All right, please tell me your name.
Raymond Acevedo Rosado.
Okay, sir, you're here in 2020 MO 844. You're arrested for disorderly conduct. I do find probable cause. And was there an offer, Ms. Bush?
Yes, Your Honor. It's adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
All right, sir, did you want to accept the state's offer?
I can't hear you, ma'am.
It's credit for time served, and I would give you a year to pay your court costs.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am. I got
Did
it.
you, did you understand everything on the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
I do find a factual basis to accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served. Order that you pay your court costs by August 17th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Gary Young.
Mr. Young, you're here in 2020 MO 845. It's an open container violation. I do find probable cause. Ms. Bush, did you have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. It's adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
All right, Mr. Young, did you want to accept the state's offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you read the plea form?
Yes.
Do you understand everything on it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I find a factual basis to accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served. Order that you pay your court costs by August 17th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck, sir.
I thank you.
All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name, sir.
Brandon Battles.
All right, Mr. Battles, you're here in 2020 CF 9896AO. You're arrested for trafficking cocaine of 28 grams, but less than 150 kilograms, and then possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and no weapons, no firearms, and no ammunition. And the bond will stay at 50,000. Count 2, I'll reduce to 100. All right, thank you, sir. Tell me your name, sir.
Carlos Benjamin Serrano.
All right, so you're here in 2020 CF 9892AO. It's an aggravated assault with a firearm. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. So you're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No contact with any victims or witnesses, and no weapons, no firearms, and no ammunition. Your bond will be set at $7,500. Thank you, sir. And Blackman bonded.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll take no action on Blackman. Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Danny Dawson.
Mr. Dawson, you're here in 2020 CF 9864AO. It's a possession of MDMA, and I do find probable cause, and I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm gonna stay the bond at the $1,000. So you're out on release in 2 cases. You've got 2019 CF 14018AO, 2020 CF 7504AO. I'm going to revoke the releases and set the bonds at none at this time. And he has the public defender on both? Yes. You're going to have to contact the public defender and they'll be able to file a bond motion for you.
So I don't have bond on one case?
On the cases that you were out on release on, you do not have bonds.
On the next on the list is Yala Alexander, refused court.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear anything that you just said.
Adi Ayala. No.
He's not coming because he...
Refused court.
Okay, thank you. All right. Mr. Diayala is here, or not here, in 2020 CF 9883AO and 2020 CF 9501AO. And I'm finding his refusal to be a waiver. I'll appoint the public defender on both cases. On the grand theft, I do find probable cause, and he is not to have any contact with any victim in the case, and no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. And then that bond will stay at $1,000 in 2020 CF 9501. It's a capias. The state filed an information. Probable cause was found for petty theft 2 prior convictions. And he is not to return back to the Walmart. And that is at 10500 West Colonial Drive, Ocoee, Florida 34761. And that bond will stay at $2,500. And also no contact with victims or witnesses at the Walmart. Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Yaini de Jesus.
All right, Ms. De Jesus, you're here in 2020 CF 9888 AO. You're arrested for burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief. And I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. You're not to return back to 8687 West Earlo Bronson Memorial Highway. No contact with any victim or witness in the case. And she was not able to be qualified for pretrial.
She can qualify. Your
She
Honor.
can?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to place you in pretrial release, Ms. De Jesus. Make sure you comply with the court order as well as pretrial release. If you come back on anything else, you might be held at no bond, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Well, the next on the list is Franklin William, behavior.
Okay. All right, Mr. Franklin is behavior. I'm going to appoint the public defender, 2020 CF 9887AO. And Mr. Matos, did you want to waive?
Your Honor, we are going to waive and hold the whole Arthur hearing downtown.
Okay, so, and the state does not want me to make a finding? Either way, I would just hold him at no bond and they could have a hearing
Yes,
downtown.
and since defense is also waiving a finding of proof evident or presumption
Okay.
grade.
All right, so I'm going to stay the bonds on count 1 and 2 at none, and an Arthur hearing can be set downtown. He's to have no contact with the victim's family or any witnesses in the case, no drugs or alcohol without firearms or any ammunition, and no return to the scene. those could obviously change, but at least from the jail, he's not to have any contact with anyone in the case. And I did find probable cause for the first-degree murder with a weapon, as well as the burglary of a dwelling with an assault or battery therein, if I didn't say that. All right, tell me your name.
Shaquille Gardner.
All right, Miss Gardner, you're here in a couple cases.
Yes, ma'am.
I've got 2020 CF 5615, and that is a warrant, petty theft, 2 prior conviction. And so no contact with any victims or witnesses or co-defendants, no return to the ABC Fine Wine and Spirits at 10835 West Colonial Drive. And I'll appoint the public defender for all of your cases if you don't already have them on anything, okay? And that bond will stay at $1,500. There's 2020 CF 6652. It's also a warrant of petty theft, 2 prior convictions. And no contact with any victims or witnesses, no return back to the Costco. It looks like the state did file an information on that, just so you're aware. And then I've got 2020 CF.
You staying the bond on that one too?
Yeah, staying the bond, sorry. I think that's 1,500 as well. And then,
Is I'm looking for pretrial?
no ma'am, 2019 CF 15251AO. It's a failure to appear. And that was for an arraignment on June 15th, 2020, and the judge did set your bond at $5,000. So I'll appoint the public defender if you don't already have them in that case. Then I've got 2020 MM 3121. It's a warrant for providing false ID to law enforcement, and I'm going to stay that bond at $500. The state did also file an information in that case. And then 2020 CF 9104, it's a petty theft, 2 prior convictions. And that's a warrant. And so you're not to return back to the Dollar General at 1001 South Orange Blossom Trail. And no contact with any victims or witnesses. And that bond will stay at, I believe, $1,000.
How much is
All right, so you'll need to get in touch with the public defender. If you cannot make the bonds, they'll be able to file a motion to reduce bond for you.
Okay, so the total bond is what, ma'am? Oh,
It's all written down for you, ma'am.
yeah.
All right, tell me your name, please.
Clay Gaskin.
Mr. Gaskin, you're here in 2020 CF 9902 AO. You were arrested for driving while license revoked as a habitual traffic offender. And I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. There's also 2020 MM 208AE. That's possession of less than 20 grams of cannabis. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. So in the driving case, no driving without a valid driver's license, that bond will be $2,500. And then on the cannabis, I'm gonna ROR you. No drink, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Tyreek Jean Charles.
All right, sir, you're here in 2020 CF 9903. You were arrested for possession of a concealed weapon or a firearm by a convicted delinquent. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. No weapons or firearms or ammunition, no contact with any witnesses in the case. That bond will stay at $5,000. You're out on release for burglary of an occupied structure and resisting. 2019 CF 11572AO. I'm going to revoke the release and set that at none. And does he have the public defender or?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you'll have to speak with them about getting you a bond in that case.
Oh, he has conflict.
You have conflict counsel. All right, please tell me your name.
Kyle Kyleman.
All right, so you're here in 2020 MM 5973AO. It's a trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause for that offense, and I'll appoint the public defender. And 2020 CF 9875. It's a petty theft, 2 priors. There's probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. You're not to return back in both cases to the Walmart at 11250 East Colonial Drive. No contact with any victims or witnesses, and abide by the trespass warning. And so on the trespass, the bond will stay at $500. On the theft, the bond will stay at $1,000. I am revoking the release in 2020 CF 7396AO and setting that bond at none. And I'll appoint the public, it looks like the public defender was previously appointed in that matter. So you'll have to contact them and they'll have to set a bond hearing for you.
All right, thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Justin Leckie.
Mr. Leckie, you're here in 2020 CF 9876. You were arrested for burglary of an occupied dwelling, possession of heroin, petty theft of 100 or more, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. In that case, no return back to the victim's residence, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no contact with any victims or witnesses. And that bond will stay at $5,000, $150, $100, and $100. And then you've got principal and as a first degree dealing in stolen property. There is probable cause. That's in 2020 CF 9879. And I'll appoint the public defender. And so no contact with any victims or witnesses in that case. And that bond will stay at $2,500. The out on release is a notice to appear, so I'm not taking any action on 2020 MM 4975. Make sure you don't miss any court dates, or do you have an attorney in that case, sir?
No.
Okay, I'll appoint the public defender for you in the 2020 MM 4975 AO case. Just want to put a note on here that I'm not revoking because it's a notice to appear. I just don't know where I can put that note. So on both cases.
Anywhere where it says the comment.
Like you know how you put no action?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to put next to it. Because it's a notice to appear. thank you. All right, McDuffie bonded.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll take no action. All right, tell me your name, please.
Dontavius Rozier.
Okay, do we know what happened to Jasmine Mott?
Bonded, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll take no action on Miss Mott. All right, Rosier, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Rosier, you're here in 2020 CF 3984. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for aggravated assault with a firearm. And I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with any victim or witness in the case. You're not to possess any weapons, any firearms, or any ammunition. And no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. And the bond will stay at $15,000. Right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Tell me, oh, nobody's there.
Your Honor, next on the list, Victor Salas. He refused court.
Okay, well, I'll find his refusal to be a waiver and appoint the public defender, 2020 CF 9873. And that's a resisting with violence, resisting without violence, trespass in a dwelling after warning, and assault on a law enforcement officer. There's probable cause. So no return to the scene, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no contact with victims or witnesses, abide by the trespass, and no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I'm going to stay the bond at $2,500, $100, $100, and $100. Tell me your name, please.
My name is Brenda Santiago de Jesus.
All right, ma'am, you're here in 2019 CF 10452AO. You failed to appear for a status hearing on August 5th, 2020. The judge did forfeit your bond and set your bond at $2,000. Does she have the public defender?
The point is that I don't know why even I got a warrant. When I went to court, that it was my court date on the 18th of September. It was no court. I also paid like a cap that it was 25 to court. And when I went there, they told me the court was closed because the coronavirus started. So I gotta keep calling and checking. I call and check, and how come I got a court date after 2 or 3 months at August the 5th, and the one that bought me out, even the bail bonds, nobody let me know, not even a mail in the letter in the mail, letting me know I got a court date popping up, and they just tell me I got a warrant. I don't get it, because I didn't get in no trouble. I wasn't doing nothing. I even was quitting drugs. So honestly to God, I think it's not fair. Me to have a bond again, I had to bond out. Why? What is the reason why? If I didn't get no court date in my hands, after two, 3 months.
Okay, you got to stop talking because you got to let me figure out what happened, and I'll let you know what happened. Okay. Okay. So looks like you were arrested, and then you bonded out the same day, right? And then your bondsman got notice of a court date.
And I went to court.
Listen to me. And then on October 24th, 2019, you failed to appear, okay? Then you got arrested on that, and you filed a bond on that, okay? You got arrested at the end of December 2019. You filed your bond on that. Then on January 16th.
I'm not understanding what you're saying.
I'm telling you what happened in your case.
Yes.
Okay? So then on January 16th, there was another court date. And again, you failed to appear.
So, no, I didn't. What you're saying don't make no sense.
Your bondsman got notice of that date, and you failed to appear. Then they recalled the capias. The PD was then appointed for you. And you were given new court dates. The public defender had those court dates. They indicated that you must be present at trial management conference.
Man, can I talk? I went for.
No, listen, I'm going through the court file and I'm telling you exactly what happened in the case, okay?
Oh, Jesus.
Then on June 24th, 2020, there was a court date. You were not present. The PD was present. You were given a court date of July 29th, 2020 and the bondsman was also received notice of that. And then on August 5th, again, a failure to appear. So your bondsman and the public defender both had notice of your court date.
No.
So yes, they did. And there's proof in the court file of that. So the bond is set. I cannot change the capias. The bond is set at the $2,000. I'm not taking action on the out on release case. So you'll have to post the bond or file a motion.
Sweetheart, can I talk to you?
Don't call me sweetheart. You can, okay.
I
We're done
cannot
here.
go back out. I'm gonna stay in jail. That's ridiculous. It don't make no sense when we say
Please tell me your name.
Michael Leroy Spencer.
Mr. Spencer, you're here in 2020 CF 9891AO. You were arrested for possession of synthetic cannabinoids. I do find probable cause, and I will appoint the public defender's office. Where are you living, Mr. Spencer?
I'm living on the streets until the 27th, and I'm supposed to be going back home to Indiana. I was supposed to be going to get my apartment back home.
So you're leaving Orlando?
Yeah.
How will you get back for court dates?
I got SSI so I can come back down for a court date.
Okay, well, you understand that if I release you today, that you need to come back for any court dates. If you do not, you will be arrested on a warrant and probably held at no bond.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription.
Okay.
I'm going to order that you stay in touch with the public defender's office weekly. Okay?
Yep.
So you need to find out who your attorney is and contact them weekly so that they know where you are. If you miss a court date, then chances are if they don't know where you are, the judge is going to issue a warrant.
Okay.
All right? Thank you.
And Your Honor, what is the release?
I released him ROR with,
ROR?
with weekly communication.
I missed the ROR.
I'm sorry. All right, please tell me your name. Can you tell me your name, sir?
Name is Taylor?
Akili?
Correct.
Okay, Mr. Akili Taylor, you're here in 2020 CF 9868AO, and they charge you with burglary of a dwelling and burglary of an occupied dwelling. I'm going to appoint the public defender. I think the affidavit mentions an attempt on both counts.
Yes, sir.
Although it technically is a burglary of a dwelling based on taking of the items from the but it's what the intent of the officer wanted to charge was the attempts. So I have those statutes. So I believe count one. Is that the 810.02 1B2-30?
I don't know what the dash is, Your Honor, but
Okay. I think that it is. So I think count one is 810.02 1B2-30, which is the attempt. And then count two should be the attempted burglary of an occupied dwelling, which is 810.02 subsection 3-20. So I'm going to find probable cause for those because that's what I believe the officer intended to charge him with.
And the state concurs, and defense counsel and state spoke about it.
So count 1 should be 810.02, subsection 1, subsection B, subsection 2-30. And then count 2 should be 810.02, subsection 3-20.
What's the wording?
Huh?
What's the wording?
Oh, it's attempt, yeah, it's just an attempt in the front. So attempted burglary of a dwelling and then
Okay.
attempted burglary of an occupied dwelling.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's probable cause for those offenses, and I did appoint the public defender. So, Mr. Taylor, you're not to return back to either of the residences as listed in the affidavit of the victims, and no contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. And
No.
it doesn't look like you qualified for pretrial release or anything of that nature. So I'm going to set the bond at $2,500 on each count. All right, thank you, sir. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Tyreek Vickers.
All right, Mr. Vickers, you're here in 2020 CF 9884 AO. You were arrested for possession of a firearm by a convicted delinquent, carrying concealed firearm, and reckless display of a firearm. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. No weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm going to place you in pretrial release. Make sure you comply with the court order. If you get arrested for anything else, chances are it's going to get revoked, okay?
Good enough.
All right, please tell me your name.
Your name, Robert.
Williamson.
Robert Williamson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Williamson, you're here in 2020 CF 9877. You're arrested for petty theft as a third subsequent offense. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. No return back to the Wawa at 901 North Orlando Avenue in Winter Park. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. And it doesn't look like you're going to qualify for pretrial release based on... Well, they haven't interviewed him, right? I don't know.
No, they haven't interviewed him.
Okay, so I'll stay the bond at 1,000 or pretrial if you qualify. I don't know if you will based on any out of what's going on in I think it's Seminole County. So, they can try and qualify you, but I don't know if you'll get qualified, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
That's fine.
Bond or, yeah.
Okay.
Take it from me.
Mm-hmm. Here. Come on here.
Will my attorney be president?
All right, please tell me your name.
Aaron James Hill.
All right, Mr. Hill, you're here in 2019 CF 11968 AO. It's a violation of probation. The judge did set your bond at none in that case, and then you've also got 2019 CF 11271. That's a violation of probation as well, and the judge did set your bond at none. So I'm going to appoint the public defender in both of your cases. You'll see Judge Whitehead for your arraignment in a couple days. I'm not taking any action on the out on release case.
So
Right.
if I know I'm on probation for 3 different cases right now. If one gave me ROR, the other can't give me ROR because the whole construction site literally shuts down because of me because I'm a crane operator.
Okay, well,
Like-
that's what the warrants have you at no bond in these two cases, sir. Okay, you can talk to Judge Whitehead about that.
I thought they said I had community control on them.
No, you have no bond warrant, sir.
Okay.
All right. Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Pinkston, Walter Pinkston.
All right, Mr. Pinkston, you're here in 2016 CF 3302 AO. It's a violation of probation. The judge did set the bond at none. And I'll appoint the public defender. You'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days for that case. And you've got 2016 CF 3302 AO. It's a failure to appear for a status hearing on March 27, 2019. The judge did revoke your release and set your bond at none in that case. And does he have the PD in that case? We've got 2014 CF 14936 AO. It's a violation of probation. Yes. And the bond is set at none, and I'll appoint the PD for you in that case. And then we've got 2014 CF 14936 AO, failing to appear for a status hearing on March 27, 2019. And the judge did revoke your release and set your bond at none. So you have the public defender on all your cases. You'll have to contact them to set bonds for you or file motions to set bond. But you'll see Judge Whitehead on the violations of probation in a couple days, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Devon Cook.
All right, Mr. Cook, you're here on a Lake County warrant, and you do have bonds set at $30,000, $10,000, and $10,000. So if you're able to bond out, you can bond out on that case. But you also have a Lake County case, and you have no bond in that case. And so the bond will stay set at none at this time. I'm going to appoint the public defender here to represent you in the meantime because they're not transporting people. So we're going to contact Lake County for you to see if they'll give you a bond on the other case. In the meantime, contact the public defender. They'll be able to file any motions to set bond for you as well, okay?
So I'm not going to be transferred at all?
Well, they're not transporting people right now because of the pandemic. So that's why we've appointed the public defender here, so they can help you out with your case. But we will contact Lake County, one of the judges here, to see if they'll give you a bond, okay?
Okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, please tell me your name.
Rising, my name is Shaylin Mack.
All right, Ms. Mack, you're here on a Sumter County warrant, and the bond is $513. And so if you can bond out, you can bond out. I'm going to appoint the public defender just in an abundance of caution in case you can't bond out. But I'm not taking any action on the out on release case, okay?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
So I said I'm not taking any action on the case that you're out on release on. You're out on release here for a driving while license suspended case. So I'm not going to take action on that. But you have a bond for the Sumter County case. It's $513. So you should be able to bond out now if you're able to bond out.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I have a question.
Okay.
When I got stopped, I was headed to work in Georgia. Now, let me get to the point. The question is, if I got the driver's license the day after, it wasn't an infraction. It was more or less.
That you're going to have to talk to Sumter County about. We're in Orange County right now, and I can't do anything with your case. Okay.
Gotcha. Yes,
So I
ma'am.
have a point. Yeah. Are you going to be able to bond out?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then you just bond out and get in touch with anybody up there that can help you out. Find out when your next court date is. Okay.
Will do. Thank you.
Don't miss it. Okay. Good luck. All right. Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is John Lewis Miller.
Miller?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Miller, you're here on a Lake County warrant, You do have bonds. Count 1 is 50,000. Count 2 is 10,000. Count 3 is 5,000. Count 4 is 10,000, and count 5 is 25,000. So I don't know if you can bond out or not, but if you can, then you can bond out. But I'm going to appoint the public defender here to represent you. One of the judges here can contact the judge in Lake County to see if they will reduce your bonds if you're not able to bond out.
Yes, sir.
But I'm not going to take any action on the out on release case that you have. It looks like you have a court date coming up in September, and Ms. Sweet is representing you on that.
Yes, ma'am, she is.
Okay.
I haven't spoke with her in the last couple months. However,
Okay, well, I would get in touch with her, okay?
yes, ma'am.
And make sure that you know when you have a court date if you need to be there. And if you're in Lake County or some other place, you let her know where you are. So if you can't bond out, you'll probably be back here in a couple days, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, anything else?
There we go.
Nothing? No? All right, thank you, everybody. We'll be in recess for today.